So our first problem is 585 divided by 9. The first thing we look at is, can 9 go inside of 5? And it can't fit. So then we look at this as a chunk. Can 9 go inside of 58? And it can, but the question is how many times? We want to get close to 58, but we can't go over it. So thinking about it, if we did 9 times 6, we would get 54. So since we're doing this as a chunk together, that's why our 6 is going to go up here and not above the 5. And so now thinking about our steps, we have divide, multiply, and subtract, bring it on down and bring it on back. So our next step is to actually multiply. So thinking 9 times 6, which we just said would get us 54. So we put our 54 down below. And our next step is to subtract. So we're going to subtract our 54 from our 58. Looking at 8 minus 4, that would get us 4. And 5 minus 5 would get us 0. So looking at it, can 9 go inside of 4? No, it doesn't fit. So we have to think, if that doesn't go inside of there, then what can I do next? Well, we can bring on down this 5. So now we're thinking, how many times can 9 go inside of 45? And I know that it can go in there 5 times. So I put my 5 up here, and then I still do my multiplication. 9 times 5 gets us 45. And then we subtract 5 minus 5, that gets us 0. 4 minus 4, that gets us 0. Now I think, can 9 go inside of 0? No, it can't. And there's nothing left to bring down, so it is 65 with no remainder for number 1. All right, well, let's go ahead and check out number 2. Number 2 is 605 divided by 5. So the first thing we're looking at is, can 5 go inside of 6? And yes, it can. It can fit 1 time. So we put our 1 up here, and then we do our multiply step. 5 times 1, well, that gets us 5. After we multiply, we go ahead and subtract. 6 minus 5, that would get us 1. Can 5 fit inside of 1? Cannot. So we do have something we can bring down, though. So we bring down that 0, and now we're fitting 5 inside of 10. How many times can 5 fit inside of 10? It would be 2. So put our 2 up here, and then again we do our multiplication step. 5 times 2, well, that gets us 10. And 0 minus 0, that'd be 0. 1 minus 1, that would be 0. Now we're thinking, can 5 fit inside of 0? And we know it can't. But thankfully we have something else that we can bring down. So we bring this 5 on down. And now we got, how many times can 5 go inside of 5? And that would be just 1 time. So we put our 1 up here, and then we subtract our 5. And we have no remainder, so 121 is going to be our answer there. Make sure that you're showing your work. All right. Next, we'll go ahead and do 294 divided by 7. So the first thing we look at is, can 7 go inside of 2? And it doesn't fit. It's not big enough. So now we're looking at, can 7 go inside of 29? And it can. How many times can it go inside of 29? Remember, we want to get close but not go over. So it can fit in there 4 times. So thinking 7 times 4, what would that get me? Well, it'd get me 28. So now we'll go ahead and subtract our 28. Looking at it, we got 9 minus 8, that would get us 1. And 2 minus 2, that would get us 0. So now we're looking at, can 7 fit inside of 1? And it can't, it's not big enough. But thankfully we have something we can bring down. So we bring down that 4. And now we ask the question again, can 7 fit inside of 14? Which it can. How many times can 7 fit inside of 14? That's right, 2 times. So we put our 2 up here, and we minus our 14. 4 minus 4, that would get us 0. 1 minus 1, that would get us 0. So now we ask ourselves, can 7 fit inside of 0? No, it can't. Is there anything left to bring down? And there's not. So we are finished with 42 as our answer. All right, let's go and check out number 4. We have 696 divided by 8. So the first question is, can 8 fit inside of 6? And it doesn't fit, it's too small. So now we're looking at, can 8 fit inside of 69? And it can. How many times can we fit 8 inside of 69 while getting close but not going over? That's right, 8 times. So we put our 8 on top. This is our divide step. When we have our divide, multiply, and subtract, bring it on down and bring it on back, That's the divide step that we just did. Now we're going to our multiply step. So we're going to take a look at 8 times 8, which would get us 64. So now that we've done our divide and our multiply step, next we're going to go ahead and do our subtraction step. So let's take 69 minus 64. 9 minus 4 would get us 5, and 6 minus 6 would get us 0. Can I put 8 inside of 5? Doesn't work, but I have this 6 that I can bring on down. So now we're looking at how many times can 8 go into 56. We want to get as close as we can, but not go over. So I'm thinking immediately 8 times 8, but that gets me 64, which is too big. I'm trying to get to 56. So what if we go 8 times 7? So do my multiplication step, 8 times 7, that gets me 56. And then 6 minus 6 gets me 0, 5 minus 5 gets me 0. And so 8 cannot go inside of 0, and I have nothing that I can bring down, so we have no remainder to worry about. We're just left with 87. All right, hope it was helpful. See you guys tomorrow. Bye.